Today we're going to layer our stencils and I have 2 cards to share with you. Welcome back, it's Therese from Lostinpaper and Altenew have a stencil release, and today I've got 2 different stencils that I'm going to layer up. So these are angled style stencils, so suit this technique beautifully, starting with the mighty corners. This is kind of a triangle style stencil, and I decided to use tone on tone technique. So I've got some blush cardstock and I wanted to use the blending brush and also some of the mixed media ink, and it just wasn't working. I was moving the stencil too much with the brush, so I did go and spray it with some low tack adhesive, which kind of helped a bit. I do need to invest in some better stuff. I know, but it sort of did help, and if I took my time, it worked. What I like about this pigment ink on coloured cardstock is that the ink kind of sits on top of the cardstock rather than dyeing into the cardstock, which is how I kind of think of the two and how they work. But I just thought it'd be lovely to see how these mixed media inks went, and they were really nice to blend through these stencils. I flipped the stencil around. I did use my grid mat initially just to be really cheaty and find out where the middle of the piece of cardstock was. I cleaned off my stencil in between. Now I'm going to come in with a darker colour, the coral berry this time, but I'm making sure to offset my stencil. These are the same size gaps, so I could have actually filled like the gap that it left with the frosty pink colour with that real light tone on tone, but I wanted to create a multiple layered look. So by having it offset, this coral berry colour actually coloured over some of the frosty pink, so that actually makes it look like there's 3 separate colours in the actual stenciled part, because I've got the colour of the cardstock and then the 2 colours of ink there. I think those pigment inks look beautiful on the coloured cardstock here with that tone on tone look. The pigment inks do take a little bit longer to dry than the dye inks, so beware of messy fingers. And voila! I think it's very pretty. I'm just going to set that aside to dry while I work on my second background here, which is using this stripe builder stencil. And it is what it is. It is a builder stencil, so you can actually come in with multicolors. You can do a rainbow effect. You can do like I'm doing, which is just a very sort of dramatic grey on grey tone, and you can see the difference here. I'm colouring with dye ink this time, so I've got the silver stone ink, and I'm using another blending tool, and I am taking my time. It's hard to tell because I have sped it up a little bit, but I am taking my time to get the ink down. And the good thing about dye inks, that even though it does look a little bit blotchy here, after it dries you don't see that quite so much. But to be honest, I have had other blending tools and tried them on the Nina, because this is the Nina 80-pound cardstock, and had no success. So the fact that I can blend really evenly on Nina is a game changer for me, because I hoard my Bristol smooth cardstock because it's expensive. And if I make a mistake I get upset, or a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit upset. But yeah, so here I've come in, I've done exactly the same thing. I've masked off half of the stencil. This time I did shift it around to make sure that where the edges of the stencil were, I was going to get the whole portion of the card covered that I wanted to. And that second dark grey looks amazing. I did think about doing it in black, but you know, I always use black, so I thought I'd go for something different. Now I've got the new Mini Delight. This is one of the little tiny sets that comes with a coordinating die, or has a coordinating die. And I just thought I'd quickly stamp out some flowers that I can use on both of my cards. And one way that I like to do this is to use my Misty and spin the cardstock around. And this is a really easy way to get a stack of flowers out really quickly. And just by having, I only have to line up the images once, and then I can just keep twisting my cardstock around, changing the color to suit, and then just stamping it down. I did the same thing on a couple of pieces of cardstock. I did some pink flowers as well. I thought they're going to both go really well with both of the cards that I'm making today. And then I just kept the green leaves all the same color. That was so I've used, what is it there? I used the Summer Afternoon. Oh no, Sweet Dreams. The blues are in the Sweet Dreams, and the reds were the Red Cosmos, that pinky red colour, because I thought that was exactly the same as the mixed media. And I used the Grass Field, that's right, for my green. So I popped up my pink panel on the front of a top fold card, added my flowers, and also a white heat embossed sentiment from the Delicate Flower Bed, and did actually die cut that out with one of the featured sentiments dies. Love those little rounded edges on there, very nice. And my second card was really even more simple to put together. I did stamp a hello from the statement flowers in some obsidian ink, and then I attached this whole panel to the front of a top fold card, and then just made a little bouquet of 3 flowers. And what I did do here was sort of layer them at different levels, and stole a few leaves. No one will ever know because it's underneath the bouquet. And I do like to kind of pop the leaves out around the little bouquet. I just think it added something today. Very simple card, and I did add some enamel dots too. So don't forget to head to my blog, and you'll find all the links to these products that I've used. You'll also be able to find all the links to everyone else who is going on the hop, and lots more inspiration with these wonderful stencils from Altenew. So if you did like the video, please click on the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate every visit here. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.